Episode 8, Shadows of Strategy in Lyra's Caution. The Ancient Ones had warned that the Shadowbound would use her quest against her if they discovered it. She forced herself to nod. "You're right, but we need a plan." Over the following weeks, the sisters devised a strategy. Using their training sessions as cover, they began to create a map of Athoria, marking locations where Lyra felt the resonances most strongly. Patterns emerged. Certain areas of the Crystal City seemed to produce stronger echoes than others. "It's like following a trail of breadcrumbs," Jasmine observed as they added another point to their secret map, hidden within a light crystal that only they could activate. "But we're still missing something crucial." "A catalyst," Lyra agreed. "Something that could strengthen the connection enough for us to pinpoint their exact locations." The opportunity came unexpectedly during a training session with the Possibility Counselor's mentor, a being named Elysia, whose form continuously shifted between potential futures. Elysia was teaching them about probability manipulation, the art of nudging events toward desired outcomes. "Every choice creates branches," Elysia explained, her appearance flickering between different versions of herself. "Most beings can only perceive the path they're on, but with training, you can learn to glimpse the alternatives." "Could this help find someone?" Jasmine asked, trying to sound casual. "Someone whose path has diverged from yours?" Elysia's form stabilized momentarily, her expression thoughtful. "It could, especially if there was a pre-existing connection between you. Soul bonds leave traces across probability space." That evening, Jasmine and Lyra modified their plan. They would combine Jasmine's dimensional magic with Lyra's soul-binding abilities and the probability manipulation techniques Elysia had taught them. If successful, they might be able to create a temporary bridge across probability space to locate the specific souls they sought. Their opportunity came during the Festival of Convergence, a celebration when the multiple moons of Athoria aligned, causing a surge in magical energies throughout the realm. With everyone distracted by the festivities, the sisters slipped away to a secluded garden in the eastern quadrant of the Crystal City. "This is where the resonance was strongest," Lyra confirmed as they positioned themselves beneath a tree whose leaves shifted between silver and gold with each breath of wind. Jasmine nodded, her heart pounding with anticipation. After a year of preparation, they were finally taking concrete action. "Ready?" Lyra took her hands, their soul bond humming with shared purpose. "Remember, we can only maintain the bridge for a few moments. Focus on your sisters' essences, not their appearances or names, but the feeling of their souls." Together, they began the complex magical working. Jasmine channeled dimensional energy while Lyra directed it through their bond, shaping it with the techniques Elysia had taught them. The air around them began to shimmer, reality bending around them like light through a prism. Colors bled and swirled, the very fabric of Athoria responding to their combined will. "I can feel it," Jasmine whispered, her voice echoing strangely in the distorted space. "The connection is forming." Through their shared consciousness, she focused on the essence of her sisters, not their human appearances, but the unique signature of their souls. Lila's bright, impulsive spirit, May's quiet, thoughtful presence. The love that had bound them together through the darkest moments of their human existence. The air before them rippled, then tore open like a curtain being drawn aside. Through the rift, Jasmine could see fragmentary images, flashes of lives being lived in different parts of Athoria. A young girl with copper gold hair running through a meadow of luminescent flowers. Another older figure bent over ancient texts in what appeared to be a vast library, her fingers tracing symbols that glowed at her touch. "Lila," Jasmine breathed, recognizing the joyful abandon in the first girl's movements. "And May." The studious concentration of the second figure was unmistakable, even in this new form. The images began to stabilize, the locations becoming clearer. The meadow was in the western reaches of Athoria, near the Crystal Falls. The library belonged to the Archive of Ages, located beneath the council spire itself. But as the vision sharpened, a cold sensation swept through the garden. The leaves of the silver gold tree froze in mid-shift, and shadows began to pool around the edges of their magical working. "Someone's watching," Lyra hissed, her grip on Jasmine's hands tightening. "We need to close the bridge. Now." Before Jasmine could respond, a tendril of darkness shot through the rift, wrapping around the images of her sisters and pulling them into distortion. "No," Jasmine cried, instinctively reaching toward the fading visions. As her concentration broke, the bridge between probabilities began to collapse, but not before a voice, cold and ancient, whispered through the closing rift. "Found you, twice-born child." The garden snapped back to normal, the magical energies dissipating like mist in sunlight. Jasmine and Lila fell backward onto the soft grass, their connection temporarily overloaded by the strain. "What was that?" Jasmine gasped, her mind reeling from the intrusion. Lyra's face had gone pale, her oceanic eyes wide with fear. "Syrinx, he sensed our working." She scrambled to her feet, pulling Jasmine up. "We need to get back to the festival before anyone notices we're gone." They rushed through the Crystal City, the sounds of celebration growing louder as they approached the central plaza. The alignment of the moons had created a spectacular display of light, ribbons of color dancing across the sky as revelers watched in awe. Jasmine and Lila slipped into the crowd, their hearts still racing. "We need to tell Father," Lila whispered as they navigated through the throng of celebrants. "Not yet," Jasmine countered, her mind working furiously. "We found them, Lila. We know where they are now. If we tell anyone, the council might prevent us from reaching them." "But Syrinx knows," Lila argued, her voice tight with worry. "He saw them too. What if he gets to them first?" The thought sent ice through Jasmine's veins. She hadn't considered that possibility. If the Shadowbound leader found her sisters before she did, then we move quickly, she decided. "Tomorrow, the archive first. It's closer. Then the crystal falls." Lila looked uncertain but nodded. Their soul bond thrummed with shared determination and fear. They spent the remainder of the festival maintaining appearances, smiling and participating in the celebrations, while their minds raced with plans. That night, as they prepared for bed in their shared chamber, a soft knock came at their door. Jasmine tensed, wondering if they had been discovered already. But when the door opened, it was Belga who entered, her violet eyes troubled. "The Void Counselor sensed a disturbance during the festival," she said without preamble, a reaching across probability space. Jasmine and Lila exchanged glances, their guilt evident. Belga sighed, sitting on the edge of Lyra's bed. "I won't ask what you were seeking," she said softly. "But I must warn you, the council is concerned, and your father." She hesitated. "Galen has been summoned to a closed session. Something is happening, something beyond your search." "What do you mean?" Jasmine asked, her heart rate accelerating. Belga's expression grew more troubled. "There are rumors that the Shadowbound are mobilizing. Scouts report increased activity at the boundaries of our realm. Some fear Syrinx is preparing for a direct assault." "Because of me?" Jasmine whispered, horror creeping through her. "Not just you," Belga assured her, though her tone lacked conviction. "The tensions between our people and the Shadowbound have existed for millennia. But..." She hesitated again. "Your arrival may have accelerated Syrinx's plans." Lila moved closer to Jasmine, their shoulders touching in silent support. "What should we do?" Belga looked between her daughters, conflict evident in her ethereal features. Finally, she reached into the folds of her flowing robe and withdrew a small crystal pendant. "This was meant to be given to you on your naming day," she said, pressing it into Jasmine's palm. "But I think I will give you now and give you your new name in this world is Celebria." The crystal was warm against Jasmine's skin, pulsing gently with an inner light that seemed to respond to her heartbeat. She looked up at Belga, questions forming on her lips. "It's a heartstone," Belga explained, her voice barely above a whisper. "They are exceedingly rare, even in Ethoria. This one has been in my family for generations, passed from mother to daughter." "What does it do?" Jasmine asked, turning the crystal in her palm. Within its depths, she could see shifting patterns of light, like galaxies being born and dying in miniature. "It amplifies soul connections," Belga said, glancing toward the door as if worried about being overheard. "With it, you can strengthen bonds that already exist, even those that have been forgotten or transformed." Lila gasped softly, "Like the bonds between Jasmine and her sisters." Belga nodded, her expression a mixture of concern and resolve. "I cannot openly support your search. My position on the council forbids it. But I am your mother first, Celebria. If finding your sisters will bring you peace, then I will help as I can." Why tell us this now? Jasmine asked, closing her fingers around the precious stone. Because time grows short, Belga replied, rising to her feet. Whatever Syrinx is planning, it will happen soon. The council believes he needs something from you, perhaps related to your unique nature as a twice-born soul. If your sisters are truly here in Ethoria, finding them before he does may be crucial. She moved to the door, pausing with her hand on the crystal handle. Be careful, my daughters. Trust no one outside our family. With those words, she slipped away, leaving Jasmine and Lyra staring at each other in the soft glow of their chamber lights. Celebria, Jasmine repeated, testing the name on her tongue. It felt strange yet oddly fitting, a bridge between her human past and a Thorian present. My naming day wasn't supposed to be for another month. Mother knows we won't wait that long, Lyra said with a small smile. She's giving you your true name now because she understands what we must do. Jasmine froze, emotion overwhelming her. After a year of searching, of planning, her sister was mere steps away, yet in a form that would not recognize her. What now? Lyra asked through their bond. We can't simply approach her and claim she's your reborn sister. Before Jasmine could respond, the young woman looked up as if sensing their presence. Her eyes were a deep amber, flecked with gold, nothing like May's human eyes, yet holding the same thoughtful intensity. Can I help you? She asked, her voice melodic but reserved. This section is typically restricted to advanced scholars. Jasmine stepped forward, the heartstone burning against her skin. We're researching dimensional theory, she said, falling back on their cover story, specifically the connections between souls across different planes of existence. The young woman's expression shifted from polite inquiry to genuine interest, an unusual topic for one so young. She gestured to the text before her. I'm studying something similar, soul migration patterns following traumatic transitions. Jasmine's heart skipped a beat. Even without her memories, this reborn version of May was drawn to studies that echoed her own past. I'm Celebria, Jasmine introduced herself, using her Ethorian name for the first time. And this is my sister, Lyra. Naira, the young woman replied with a slight inclination of her head. I serve as junior archivist for the transition records. She hesitated, then added, Your research interests me. Perhaps we could compare notes? Through their bond, Lyra sent a wave of cautious optimism. This was better than they could have hoped for, a natural opening to establish a connection. We'd like that, Jasmine said, struggling to keep her voice steady. Actually, we're particularly interested in cases where human souls have crossed the veil into Ethoria. The Heartstone's pulse quickened as they approached a secluded alcove tucked between towering shelves of crystalline tablets.